Thank you, Lynn. Announcements, I'm not aware of any. Friends have
Brent,
announcements?
yes, Brent,
Yes,
yes, excuse me. Regarding next Sunday, did you get my message on
yes,
about Wednesday of this week to make that announcement and send it out to everybody?
right. Yeah, next week I'll be gone and others will be gone. Uh, we're going to join West Valley Mills for worship where Sean McConaughey is speaking. And so it'll be via, you can attend in person or I have the Zoom link to send out. So I will send that out both today and we'll send it out Friday from where I am. So, but I won't be able to participate. So thanks for saying that now, Norma. So, and their worship's at 11, correct?
10:30.
10:30. Okay.
Yes.
So it's at 10:30. So I will send it out. And for those of you who don't know, Sean is the general superintendent of the of Western Yearly Meeting, and doing a wonderful job. Joyce
And
oops, sorry.
I provide the music at Valley Mills, so I will be there as well.
Okay. Joyce and concerns?
Our family, the Gastons, all came to my house last evening, and we celebrated all the late spring and summer birthdays. We have several. And Emma starts back to school at her third year of college tomorrow. So we celebrated her starting her new year of college as well as all those birthdays.
Tomorrow is Steve's and my 34th wedding anniversary. That's a good something to celebrate. And another celebration is how well my sister is doing. She left the hospital on Thursday and went to inpatient rehab. She's working really hard to deal with the deficits that are a result of her brain surgery and all that. And she really is going to come through it and be who she was before. And that's just such a wonderful blessing. So we're delighted to share that with you. And thank you all very much for your thoughts and prayers. That means a lot.
Well, it was a joy to have Ben and Yuka, as she goes by, Yukare, here for 2 weeks. It made the house feel a little fuller again, so that was nice. And she is such a delightful young woman. She laughs at everything, and she loves the Three Stooges of all things. And so she wanted to know if there were Three Stooges she could get on TV here. And the other was The Bachelorette. She wanted to see the English version of The Bachelorette. But she's just, it was a hoot to have her here and watch. She met lots of people and had a good time. And another joy is Laura, who, our daughter Laura, who many of you know, has been a breast cancer survivor and a colon cancer survivor. Early this spring, there was some troubling blood work related to her colon cancer was something that we never told Nancy, but she had a major exam on Friday and it turned out to be nothing. And so
Yeah,
that was quite the
it's coming
relief.
back on. It needs a password.
Quite the relief for us to get that news on Friday as well. So.
Mhm.
Well, if there are no other joys or concerns to share, let's hold those in God's eternal light and love, as well as our own love, as much as we're able, and pray for gratitude for the joys, to live in a place of gratitude, while also carrying the cares that are before us and keeping them present in our lives. To live, as Thomas Kelly talks, at the deeper level while we go through our daily lives, continually in a spirit of worship and presence with God. Sylvia is our worship leader this morning, and she will lead the rest of this part of worship as she feels led.
I asked Lynn to play Make Me a Blessing. I hope some of you recognize that. I'd just like to read a few of the words from that hymn. Out in the highways and byways of life, many are weary and sad. Carry the sunshine where darkness is rife, making the sorrowing glad. Make me a blessing, make me a blessing. Out of my life may Jesus shine. Give as 'twas given to you in your need. Love as the Master loved you. Be to the helpless a helper indeed. Unto your mission be true. Make me a blessing. Well, maybe you expected to hear a little bit or a lot about our trip to Kenya and Egypt. But then if you have been reading the updates written by the individuals in our little group, you already know much about our trip. So I'm not going to review all that. You know that we traveled with some pretty special young people who wanted to see how some of the rest of the world struggles. And we did get up close and personal with several whose life is very difficult. We certainly were blessed to have Dan's grandchildren with us and know they wanted to understand more about the challenges of the people in underdeveloped countries as they are looking for ways they can make a difference in this world. But one of the experiences we didn't write much about in our daily updates was a 13-hour safari. The word safari comes from the Swahili language and means journey. Wikipedia defines safari as an overland journey to observe wild animals, especially in East Africa. Well, that's exactly what we did. We rode in a Land Cruiser with a top that lifts up so we could stand up in the vehicle to observe the wild animals in one of the most popular animal parks in the world, the Masai Mara. Going at this time of the year allowed us to see the migration of wildebeests that are also called Gnus, that's G and U. They are in the antelope family, so they are herbivores. The two kinds of wildebeest are black wildebeest and blue wildebeest. We didn't see any black ones because they don't travel very far to find food, but we saw a whole lot of blue ones, though I didn't think any part of them looked blue. I read that there is a bluish silver sheen to their coat, which I didn't think was nearly as conspicuous as Google says it is. Anyway, Since there is safety in numbers, the wildebeests were traveling together from northern Kenya to South Africa, which is about 1,000 miles just to get greener grass. They are not dangerous to people unless you get in the path of them when they are stampeding. They are just a source of food for many other animals, such as hyenas and lions and cheetahs, and even crocodiles that ambush them when they cross the river during migration. We were told that they number somewhere around 2 million, and I'm sure we saw at least 1 million of them because they seem to be everywhere. I had heard from other safari guides that wildebeests are considered one of the stupidest animals. They get that reputation because of the way they behave when a predator is near. Even though they're smart enough to gather around a young one to keep it from getting attacked, when that predator leaves, they go back to the same area where the predator was right after he leaves. What we observed with interest is that wildebeests form a single file line when they're ready to cross the Mara River. We watched them do that. But what was more interesting is that at the head of the line were a few zebras who graze with the wildebeests and get in line ahead of them to scout out the river for crocodiles. Then if the zebras turn around without crossing the river because they do see crocodiles, the wildebeests do not cross the river. There were hundreds of wildebeests in the line, but if the zebras tell them it's not safe to cross the river, they all turn around and go back to grazing. I wondered how that related to the way human beings look out for the safety of each other. I wondered why just a few zebras were so generous with the way they helped the wildebeests. It seems to me that when Jesus instructed us to love our neighbors as ourselves, we would interpret that to mean we need to help each other like the zebras help the wildebeests. We are called to love our neighbors by helping them keep safe. We are called to help each other when someone needs food or clothing or transportation or education or health care or a shoulder to cry on or advice or a place to live or even help fix a flat tire. It seems so simple to me that we are on this earth to help people. You can probably think of the lessons in the Bible that say that, perhaps in similar words. You know the story of the Good Samaritan who helped the man who was robbed and beaten. You know the story of Zacchaeus, who Jesus cared for enough to visit him at his house and dine with him and help him change his dishonest ways. Romans 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves." Romans 12:13 says, "When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality." In 1 Peter 4:10 and 11, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Be fervent in spirit and serve the Lord. Proverbs 14, verse 31, "He who oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God." Proverbs 19:17, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done." And this one is one of my favorites, Matthew 25:35 to whatever it is. "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." And then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? And the king will reply, I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. Well, Jesus didn't say it would be easy to help everyone that needs it. And he didn't teach us how to judge who does or doesn't deserve any help. A few years ago at West Newton Friends, we did a book study on the book When Helping Hurts. It described about 3 levels of helping that included assisting people in urgent situations, such as lack of food or shelter or health care caused by disasters or just very bad luck. Helping people in those cases doesn't call for judging who deserves our help. We just need to help. But then there are situations where the system people are trapped in needs to be changed. And those situations often require revamping policies or new legislation. And those remedies often take a lot of time and more effort. We, as we traveled the past 3 weeks, were greeted by several children who reached out their hands for money when we came by. We wondered if kids think that if we are Americans, we have a lot of money to give away. But we heard some people say that the U.S. is a good country because the people there share what they have. One of our drivers said, it's a good country because people in the U.S. help other people. I liked that we might have that reputation. The U.S. does help a lot of people. Even though 1% of our tax dollar, only 1% of our tax dollar is designated for foreign aid, we spend more than any other country in the world to help other countries in a variety of ways. We help some through the USAID program. We help some with military assistance. We help some with educational opportunities, and there are many more ways than that included in that 1% that we share from our taxes. It makes me pleased to know that we help so many countries. It makes me pleased to see what Friends United Meeting is doing in Kenya to help the people of Turkana with education for girls and for the shepherd boys. It made me happy to see the churches that are growing so helpfully by gathering people in, people who look out for each other. And we saw that when there are droughts in Turkana, the other Kenyan yearly meetings deliver truckloads of food for them. I was encouraged after talking with a lady at the Church World Service in Nairobi, to learn about the ways they work to resettle people, immigrants, who have fled dangerous situations in their own home countries. It was wonderful to participate to help widows that when we experience mudding, helping to mud the walls of their new houses. And I said earlier, it was pleasing to us that our 20-year-old grandchildren and an 18-year-old wanted to explore all those above experiences while they are making decisions about their futures. And it pleases me a whole lot that West Newton Friends have the mindset of helping. The mindset that helping is what we are here to do. We're here to help God build his kingdom. We need to allow God to use us and work through us to help people in need. We are his hands and feet, and we need to turn to him when we are afraid or unsure of how to help others. I will end with this familiar verse from Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let our foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber nor sleep. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Lynn's going to play the song on 505 if you have a hymn book. The words are, reach out and touch a soul that is hungry. Reach out and touch a spirit in despair. Reach out and touch a life torn and dirty, a person who's lonely if you care. Reach out and touch that neighbor who hates you. Reach out and touch that stranger who meets you. Reach out and touch the brother who needs you. Reach out and let the smile of God touch through you.
Thank you, Sylvia and Lynn, for your ministry offerings this morning. We'll continue with some more unprogrammed worship for those who can stay. And we bid those who need to leave Godspeed. It's good to see you and hope to see you next week.
Thank you, Sylvia.
If all hearts are free, we'll close a meeting for worship.
My heart's free.
It's good to see everyone. I'll be looking forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks as I take a little trip for the first time in a long time. So, heading to Northern California to spend a week with some friends out there. So, it's been almost 2 years since I was out that way, and we're going to just go relax, and I think we're even going down to Bodega Bay for a day. So take care and be well.
Safe travels.
Thanks.
Bye.
See everyone. Bye.